Here we go with layout number 3. And this one's going to be interesting because we're going to be using a lot of strips and kind of making our own little design. So you are going to want to go with your sepia pen or a black pen all the way around the outer edge of this piece. And just to make it pop out a little bit from the background. And just hand do it. And then we're going to set that down, and I believe, what is it, about 2 inches from each side. Get that on there, and then we're going to play around with these strips. And I think as I see one of my strips, I'm thinking, because I'm looking at the finished layout, I'm thinking one strip needs to be moved over at a slant a little bit more. But I'm going to give you the best thing right there is to just pick a spot to work off from. And so I've gone in about, 2.5 inches there and kind of centered. And that's just where I'm kind of aiming my strips so that they're all around one point. And like I just said, I just see one strip that's slightly off. That's going to be the pink strip at the top. You'll see that it's just slightly off when you do it. But if you just kind of try to aim all of those strips towards that point, you're going to like it a lot better. Now, I accidentally put the wrong strip here. I thought it was the white one, but it actually is a pale beige one. And you'll see me add that later. So be paying attention to your strips. And then you don't want all your strips to be gradually leaning on each other in the same way. So try to look at the the page and see where some are leaning on the strips, and then some of them are kind of leaning on them as we go to the left, and some of them are leaning on them as we go to the right. So space them out a little bit so that they're not all leaning the same way, if you know what I mean, layering over the same direction. You want some to kind of layer horizontally, and it's hard to explain what I mean, but just look on them. It's the same as when we were layering up those stickers on the last layout. You want to see what's behind the other ones and put them in that order. And I keep trying to, again, hit that point that's on there that I did, even though you can't see it anymore, you kind of know where that point was, so that they're all going in a kind of a spiral type of look or a sunburst, and meeting at the same spot in general. So like I said, only one of them I don't think meets at the right spot, and I'm going to have to tip it just a little bit when I do my before I do my pictures for you guys. But it's kind of fun. This is what a great way to use your scraps. If you're putting together your own page, just do a bunch of scraps, pick a point, and just revolve them around it, and then you can add in your photos later. And it's just it's a really great little technique, and I love that Close to My Heart is always teaching us something new. So just keep going on this, and I think that brown one, I wasn't sure if that was the right one for this piece. It was, again, so hard to tell because the colors are all similar and stuff. So I think I put in the right one. If I end up needing that on page 2, then we'll know. But I kind of looked on page 2 and didn't really see it. So we'll see, But maybe that was supposed to be there. But it's so short, so I wasn't sure, And it doesn't go all the way down. So it probably ends up going on page 2 somewhere. Maybe it's down at the bottom. I'm now looking, thinking that it might be. So if you want to dump that off and maybe put something else in, the only other thing I kind of saw that I thought I had extra was a brown polka dot strip. So that might be it. And or you can use the brown polka dot strip as the base for the banners on the next page too. So that's probably what I'll end up doing instead of trying to take this thing off. Even though it does look a little awkward up there. Can you kind of see where it's not hitting the middle like all the other ones? So I don't know, maybe I'll switch it out. I'll have to look at the next layout and stuff, but so that may not be the right one for that. So once you're all done, and you see how my pink one up there is kind of awkward, it needs to be tilted just a bit, so I'm going to tilt that, and I'll probably switch out that little piece too. Then you want to pop this up. Now, remember that these are all going to have been built up in the middle, so it's going to be a little bit awkward as you put this photo down, because it's going to be kind of hilly, because you've got like all of these meeting in one point there, and they're, you know, going to be a little bit higher off the page than the area around them. So I put that circle down. I put a little bit of pop dots on each side, and then kind of in the middle just put regular adhesive so that it would be sort of even. But even at that, my photo still turned out to be just slightly, you know, not completely flat. But in the long run, once you get in that page protector, it's not really going to matter. The only way I think that you could try to fix that is if you maybe cut some of these strips short, so they don't overlap as much when you hit the middle, and, you know, maybe just get them to barely touch as they hit that center dot. But it's not that big of a deal, right? And so I just lined that up to make sure. I didn't like it. I thought it was just a little bit off. I have a pretty good eye for these types of things. And so I put my ruler down and got that all straightened back up. And then it's time to add in some of the embellishments. We've got, that's one of the punch outs, is that love you heart. And then the little heart that's going to go on it is also one of the punch outs. And, you know, you'll see that it's still a little bit awkward, a little bit bumpy there. Get the sticker heart off of that, and then find the little punch out heart. And I kind of was trying to figure out where to put it. And I think I finally got it in a decent place, and it needed a little to be evened up a little bit. So I kind of put the foam tape a little bit off to the side so that it would lay flat on the photo. And yep, one more heart, I think, off the sticker sheet. And then it's time to use the little dots and sparkles. And I'm just using kind of different ones that are left because none of them are really matching anymore. No big deal. Oh, did we miss something? Oh, yeah, we had those, the little, what do you call those? Oh, my gosh, I forgot what those called. But they look like arrows. I can't remember. And the little sticker that says be happy too. You want to add that on, and I put that on with pop tape. And then we will add on our little sparkles. Isn't this cute? And it's such a good picture too. So it just features, it really is like all the different strips of paper just pointing to him, you know, to really highlight that picture. So add whatever little dots and sparkles you have left. And that'll pretty much be it on this one. And then we'll move on to the second page. Before we go on to the next page, here's what I did. This is the right piece for this. It just needed to go lower under that circle. And then I just angled this better the right way. So let's move on to page 2. And you're going to want to take your leaf paper and get it right in the center of your page here. And that's about a 1/4 of an inch apart, or 1/4 inch from every edge there. And then this piece goes in the middle of that, and that is going to be 1 3/4 of an inch from each side. So put that on, and I'll get my ruler out. And it's 1 3/4 from the edge of the leaf paper. So give me that, and about there. And I'm just going to hold that down so that I can get right in the middle. Okay. Next up is pictures. And it doesn't look like they have any mats. So I'm going to kind of look through my pictures, see what I have here. I don't know how many 4x4s I have. Let me see. There's a 4x4. Here's a 3x4. And is that a 3x3 down there? That might be a 3x3. So I've got this one. And I'm going to need to cut one of these two. Let me see, since we got her featured in 2, I'll probably do this, but oh gosh, I hate the way that he's looking off the side of the page. So that may not be the one. So I'm just gonna cut this into a 3x3 real quick, because this is what we can do, right? We can get these pictures cut down and missing a little hand or whatever is not going to matter, as part of his hand's already missing anyway off of it, off the side. And this will really feature in on his face, so that will be there. Okay. Now those are all about 3/8 of an inch away from each side. So I am going to use my ruler on those. You could mat them if you wanted to, but I think they're going to pop out really well because this is cardstock behind them and not a pattern paper. So again, this is my great niece and great nephew. They are Ashton and Archer, and they live down in Illinois. So I do not get to see them much. Okay, is it 3/8 from the side too? Yep, I guess so. 1, 2, 3. And they're adorable. I bet it's been an entire year since I've seen them. And I called my sister-in-law, said, I gotta see those babies. And we were trying to come up with a date that'll work, but every date I threw out wouldn't work for her. So every date she threw out wouldn't work for me. And so we're gonna keep working on it and maybe get together in the fall. But it is, you know, it is hard when people move away. And I feel sorry for my mom because I moved away when I was in my 20s, and, you know, back then we didn't even have free, you know, long distance. I could only call once a week. So it's really hard. It's hard. And I know that once I start hopefully having grandchildren, that it's going to be difficult if they're not living in the same state as me. But who knows if that's going to happen. Kids these days, you know, they tend to want kids as much. Whoops, let's not go upside down. 3/8. I'm going to move that over even though it's a little past 3 or a little less than 3/8 because I want it to match up with the photo below it. Now I'm going to look at them and make sure that they all look fairly even, and they do. So I think we're good on that. Now up here, this is where it's getting a little tricky because just trying to see what they've got. I think this is this piece, and I think that they've tucked it halfway under this photo. So what I'll do, just to make it easy on me, is I'm going to cut this in half. And then I'm also going to be very careful in how I put it down, because I see all of these little banners need to go behind it. So I may even put the banners first, just like we did on this last page, and then put this over it. Because I think that's going to be the easier way. So first is a little, I'm gonna just grab these all, I think. Looks like the polka dot one is first. So remembering that I've got about this much area, I'm gonna just kind of aim everything towards that. And I won't be tucking it because we will layer something over it. So this one was tilted quite, actually I might tuck just a touch, or nope, I think I'll just cut. All right, this one is slanted quite a bit to the side. Like this. And then we've got, oh my gosh, it's so hard to see this. It looks like this one is next. This one. And I don't want it too tall, so I'm gonna cut some of that off. And I have that in there. And then the big yellow, which has got the little polka dots on. And I'm probably not gonna glue this down yet because I don't want these to all overlap right in a row. So I'm gonna overlap this onto something else. So I'm gonna set that there. But then I want what looks like the little plaid piece. I think this is it. I'm gonna put this down first, and then I'll overlap the yellow over that. So some of the overlapping goes this way. And that does have a little room to stick down. So now I can put this here. Oh, am I out of adhesive again? Whew, that went fast. Good thing I got one sitting right up here. All right. Used a lot. That's because I'm heavy-handed. Pretty heavy-handed with all of that. And that'll go there. And then right over those two is this polka dot one. And I'm gonna cut that shorter. I'm just gonna pop that out like that. And then next to it is the plaid, skinny plaid one. And we'll see how high up that goes. I'm gonna tip it slightly. And then we've got a brown, and I think that's where that polka dot one was. And I'm gonna cut some of that off, especially in case I need it somewhere else too, if I made any other mistakes. Not too many mistakes on this one. Most of them were just on that first layout, which I told you about at the beginning video. All right, so it looks like that is it for that. And now we'll just put this to cover everything. And yep, about there. Just like that. Okay, and then we've got a jar. Looks like Winnie the Pooh's honey jar. I'll stick that there, and then a little saying sweet as pie, and we'll have to pop that up for sure. Make it some. I got a bunch of these. Man, I've been trying to get rid of these. I have so many of the little ones because I tend to use the bigger pop dots. So I've been putting, you probably have noticed on some of these layouts, a lot of these to try to get rid of them. I have, I don't know, 50 carrier sheets of them, I think. All right, that's gonna go here. And I think it's a little bit below, just goes a little slightly onto the photo and then a little bit over that honey jar or whatever that thing is. And then we've got a brownish heart, and that's here. And that goes there. And a gem, we'll do that in a minute. Let's do the bottom part. And all right, so down here, we're gonna use this long piece. And again, that is gonna go over the ribbons. So I think I'm gonna just do all the ribbons first. Let's start on the left-hand side, and it looks like, and I hope I haven't lost it. I've got a lot of mess on this desk here. That looks like a crisscross kind of orange one, and I am not seeing mine. I do not see it. So you may have it and I may not. So just use the first little piece is going to be that is like this one. So maybe, did I cut that in half? I might have cut a little bit. And I'm not seeing that here. So I'm just going to skip that one. It's not going to make that big of a difference. Next is the word one like that. And if I find it later, I'll add it to it. And so I'm going to put that down under the photo. And then we've got the reddish polka dot one like that. And I'm going to cut that. And that will go next. And then layered over that is going to be, well, let's do the yellow first, because the yellow, it kind of layers over both of them. So I'm gonna cut the yellow a little bit like that so it slants. That's the yellow polka dot one. And then over those two goes the pink like that. And I'll just cut that a little bit. And that kind of layers over those two. That. And then next to this is the yellow kind of hieroglyphics one. And that goes over there, and actually that's supposed to lay over the brown, but I will just layer the brown over that. And so the brown like this. And you know, I think up at the top, this one was supposed to be a word one instead of the polka dot, so no big deal. We'll just kind of layer that there. And I still don't see the little orange one, but it'll show up later, I'm sure. So I won't worry about it right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this whole piece on. Get some adhesive. I meant to speed up this one and do it as the you know, voiceover, but this video isn't that long, so we're just gonna go with it this way, and you're gonna hear real true to life commentary. Over here is gonna be your journaling strips. I'll grab mine in a minute. Let's do our stickers. We've got some hearts still. It looks like the pinkish hearts. So I'm gonna grab both of those, and those go, well, one here on the yellow, and then the other one goes on one of these chevrons. That's what they're called. Let me show it to you so we know what we're talking about there. Those need to go down. And it's the pink one and then the yellow one to the left of it, and they're both kind of on the tab of this. All right. Then I can put that heart down. So this heart goes on this second little chevron. And do I see any more stickers? I do not. So put the dots in a minute. Let's do the journaling. See what I got here. I'm telling you guys, you got to get these. They're so much easier than cutting your own. And you know, I think it's a little too long. I think I might use a shorter one. So I've got a couple here. Let's just do two, because I'm not sure what I'm gonna say on this. I already kind of said it on the last layout. How lovely it is to have a legacy for my parents with all these babies and children. My mother had 5 kids, and I don't even know how many grandchildren we're up to now. All right, now let's get the last of those little sparkles. And did they disappear? I wouldn't be surprised. This desk has gotten quite messy. I'm not seeing them. All right, I will pause and find them. And we have the last of these. So this is what I have left. So I'm just gonna put them wherever. And it looks like there's one round one up here on the sweetest pie. I'm gonna let it stick under it. And so tiny. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely to have a little close-up of this? Looks like a heart. They've done a heart right here on that sticker. And then down here, over to the left of the chevrons is a circle. I do not have a circle, so I'm going to put a heart. And then I've got 3 stars left. So I'm gonna put a little star here next to the heart. Let's do a different color. And then a couple stars. One there maybe, and then one up here. And we've used that whole sheet, which I think is what they had planned now, is to use that kind of a thing where you've look, use that thing where you've got you don't have lots of leftovers, because you know sometimes we just don't want all the leftovers, because then we got to figure out what to do with them, right? Isn't it nice to just be able to complete a page? Well, I'm so glad that I found this. I have to lift it just a bit. All right. Those pages are done. Let me get page 1 and page 2. And since I talked to you through the whole thing, I won't have to do a voiceover. Have a great weekend, you guys.